This month of PlayStation Plus titles comes at a very, very interesting time. We just got the release of the brand new PlayStation Plus going into the future, folding in PlayStation Now elements. You also have a litany of really good games that are on the market right now. Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, Ghostwire Tokyo, just to name a few that are currently available on PlayStation. So it's going to be hard for Sony to trump themselves, and unfortunately, April Fool's on us, I think. I got 3 games for you this month. We're going to be looking at Hood, Outlaws and Legends, Spongebob Squarepants, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, and Slay the Spire, which actually is the home run of the group this particular time. First, let's take a look at the trailer for Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. This is a PvPvE type experience that I was actually very interested to check out based on the trailer. The trailer seemed to give off some really cool medieval vibes, looking into what appears to be a very robust and full and rich world where you have to sneak in as a group of players and work on stealing treasure. That sounds awesome. That sounds exactly like what Assassin's Creed Unity was kind of gearing towards on their multiplayer experience. And I really didn't understand how a game like this could honestly fail, because it looks cool. Not only are you doing this against, you know, other people. Why am I getting subtitles in Spanish or something? You just noticed that? Whatever. Enjoy the video. Be quiet. Yeah, I gotta say that, you know, looking through the kind of layout of how this game comes together sounds interesting. And, you know, the idea that you're playing against other people while competing online, I think satisfies that player versus player itch, as well as that player versus, you know, enemy kind of itch. Unfortunately, doesn't sit very high on Metacritic. It seems the consensus, and I have not yet played this game, so please feel free to yell at me in the comments and tell me what an idiot I am. I will be reviewing it, by the way, so fear not. I will have a review for you soon, but it doesn't sit well, and a lot of people seem to say that it feels like it's a lot of a slog, and there's a lot of gameplay elements that appear to be missing. It's trying to do too many things at once. I'm not entirely sure. This is, I think, one of those cases where you look at something, you get really amped up, and then you find out what that something is, and it's not really what you hoped it would be. So the jury is out on Hood, Outlaw, and Legends, but the masses have spoken, and they unfortunately have downvoted it significantly. Moving on to SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. This is one of those games that had that $8 billion collector edition. If you remember that. THQ Nordic loves their IPs, and they had, I think it was like a $300 SpongeBob statue or something. I remember playing SpongeBob SquarePants when I was young. It was a fun platformer at the time. Seems like it's held up pretty well. I mean, in terms of the graphics, they look great. You know, obviously it's rehydrated, so it's been, you know, reimagined and all that sort of stuff. So if you've played this already, then, you know, maybe more of the same. I don't know how faithful shot for shot of a recreation it is, but you know, it looked like it was interesting. It's not really my demographic, not my type of game anymore. The only platforming type of games that I seem to play now are honestly Mario, and unfortunately sitting at a 68 Metacritic score doesn't seem to be that great. Now, I will say, and I forgot to do this on Hood, I apologize. I wanted to highlight, and I'm going to start doing this in these future reviews. Somebody pointed out in a previous comment, I think it's a well point to note. The user score actually sits very close to the Metacritic score in here. Not that great. But interestingly enough, when you jump over to SpongeBob SquarePants, you see the user score is significantly higher than the fans. Or the fan score, rather, is significantly higher than the critic score. And when you read some of these reviews on the critic side, you know, they talk a lot about, you know, the level design wasn't that great. It was fun back then, but it's not that great now. It hasn't really withheld the age of time. And everybody else seems to be talking about, well, you know, this seems a lot better. So I don't know. Again, it's a game that is not really in my wheelhouse. It's not something that gets me excited as a near 40-year-old man to go back and play a SpongeBob video game. I think if I'm going to get back into platforming, I'll probably go play Odyssey again. But not really for me. But hey, there's another one. I look at these Metacritic scores and I get a little sad. Lastly, the home run of the group, Slay the Spire. Now, I have played this on PC. It is a hybrid card roguelike game. It really got my curiosity piqued, especially after I beat Inscription, which I highly recommend you check out. I did check out and play Slay the Spire, and it is actually quite a bit of fun. I'm a huge fan of roguelike games, so I really appreciate, you know, the randomness of what's going to happen next, what kind of abilities are you going to get, what's the run going to look like. And Slay the Spire takes the best of that random roguelikeness and injects a really clever card game design around it. Now, I can't speak to the fact that I love card games because I don't. I don't really play Overwatch. I don't play Overwatch anyway. I'll stop talking about Hearthstone, though. I don't really play Hearthstone anymore. But, you know, there's definitely a great entry point into some card games where, you know, you can kind of get the gist of what you need to do without getting over the top and min and maxes. But for me, the skill ceiling rapidly exceeded my understanding of the game. The constant grinding that was required to be competitive was very difficult. I feel like in a game like Slay the Spire, since it is a single-player based adventure, the game has been tuned around that. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. So if you're kind of like on the fence, like, I don't really know if I want to play a card game, you know, this may be one that may finally kind of break you into that mold. And the critics absolutely adored this game. Sits at what I call God tier, an 88 score on Metacritic with a fairly close user score sitting slightly lower. It seems to be, you know, people like it. I liked it. I never finished it. Maybe this is a type of game that now that I'm getting it on the console, I'll go back and check it out at some point. I'm curious to see, you know, with card games, a mouse is infinitely better than a controller as you're kind of moving your cursor from card to card to select what you want to play. I'm sure they figured out a way to port it over well. It's not like this is a new port by any stretch of the imagination, but it is something to consider. So, PlayStation Plus games overall for the month. You know, after releasing the, what I would say, lukewarm news yesterday on the new PlayStation Plus initiative with all of the crazy packages that they have and the folding in of the PlayStation Now service, I've got to say this doesn't really win a lot of people over, seeing this incredibly lackluster month of games to check out. And that seems to be disappointing. Maybe I'm wrong on Hood Outlaws. If I am, I will be the first to tell you guys about it in a review I do. But I think everything else this month is like, oh, you know, I don't think it's going to be for everybody. Always brings up the question as I close out this video, when we have a lackluster month, could PlayStation Plus go away? Could we get away from free games and lower the price of the service? Now, that would be a tier I would be interested. You're just playing for the multiplayer aspect only, not all these other games. That would be something to consider. But alas, that does not exist. However, other videos on my channel do exist, so make sure you check those out. That's it for me, y'all. I hope you have a great day. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.